Sneak preview into all of my thoughts on this book. I loved it. Hi guys, it's April, and I'm going to do this book review the same way I do all of my other book reviews. I'm going to have the non-spoiler section up front, followed by the spoiled-filled thoughts afterwards, in case you don't want to spoil yourself. But otherwise, I'm just going to jump into this book review. So I received an e-art copy of Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston for a free and honest review, and that in no way has swayed my opinion of this book. This is book 3 in Ashley Poston's Once Upon a Con series. Each of these books has incorporated the ExcelsiCon in some way, along with the TV show Starfield, which seems to be a mixture of Star Trek and Star Wars and all those beautiful, wonderful sci-fi things that I absolutely love. Which means this book also spoke to my soul in a way that this whole series has. This specific book centers around Rosie Thorne, who has just recently lost her mother. She's trying to figure out what she wants to write for her college essay, and she meets this complete stranger at ExcelsiCon and connects with him instantly. Unfortunately, she never gets his name, and a month later, she's still thinking about him. This also centers around Vance, who is the bad boy of the Starfield series. He's always getting into scandals. He doesn't have a very good public image. He has been sent off to the middle of nowhere to think about what he's been doing with his life. Of course, these two meet in a very Beauty and the Beast-esque way, which is why I love this book so much. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite fairy tales, and you can definitely tell that it is one of Ashley Poston's favorite as well. There are a myriad of different references littered throughout this book. It does take more of a Disney slant to the Beauty and the Beast storyline, but I found that I enjoyed it quite a lot. The writing was just so easy to get into and so fast-paced, and I love the way all of the characters were set up. It was refreshing to see parent-like figures that were highly involved in all of these teens' lives. One of my favorite characters actually ended up being Rosie's father. He is Space Dad, and I love the way her friends seem to circle around him. This book was definitely written for fangirls and fanboys and just fans of sci-fi, fans of Beauty and the Beast. It is written almost like a fanfic, but it's in a way that I just found so enjoyable. I will keep coming back to the fact that I found this read refreshing, and it came to me at just the right time. It let me escape everything that's going on in the world right now, and I found myself smiling through most of it. I also love the fact that reading and collecting books had such a huge part in this book. There was this connection to reading as a shared experience rather than a solitary activity that gave more weight to this collecting aspect, and just the thought of building up memories in a library rather than just the physical locale. So I connected a lot with this book because of all of those different aspects, because hey, I'm here building my own collection, building my own memories in this space. I like how reading and storytelling is built up in this story, and you can even hear it in Rosie's internal dialogue. She has a writer's soul the way she is written, and there's just lines within this book that I loved. Plus, there are references to all different kinds of fandom that made me giggle so many times. The puns are on point, the interactions between Rosie and her father, and the fact that we had a diverse set of characters both ethnically and in their sexual orientation was nice and refreshing as well. If you've read any of this series, you're going to enjoy this newest installment. If you like Beauty and the Beast retellings, if you enjoy sci-fi, if you enjoy just fangirling, fanboying, just fan-personing in any aspects of nerd culture, I think you will like this read. You should pick it up if you haven't already. And of course, this is the point in which I am going to start getting into some more spoily details. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest that you go pick up the book, read it, and come back, and we will start a conversation. Let me know down below if you are going to do that, if you think you are going to read it, or if it's something you're going to pass at this point. Otherwise, I'm just going to start talking, and things are going to come out of my mouth. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to completely like the fact that this retelling took more of the Disney aspect of the Beauty and the Beast storyline rather than the traditional Beauty and the Beast plot. But I found myself, the more I was reading this book, really appreciating the fact that that is what Ashley Poston did. There's something childlike and innocent in this book, and in taking that story and retelling it that way, that it was so magical. You had little aspects like how Belle was originally yelled at for entering the beast's room, which leads to a kerfuffle and injuries. You had the same thing in this book when you had Rosie entering into Vance's room looking for a book. She finds the mask instead of a rose, but you still have a lot of those same elements. But all of these elements that I could connect to the Disney story were changed and made totally its own aspect. You had the yellow dress for the ball, which became the gold dress for the homecoming. You had Belle walking into this supposedly abandoned castle, being led there by an animal. It was swapped, so Rosie was chasing the dog, and she found the library and got startled by Vance and fell into a pool, which in its own aspect hurt my heart because I'm like, that book, we have to find a way to preserve that book since it is a first edition. Oh, but the fact that it's some of those things, it's just, I love how all of it fell into place, especially when you had the Garrett character, which you can relate to Gaston, who's trying to woo Belle or Rose in this instance, but you modernized it. He's got a YouTube channel with a whole bunch of different things, and we're using paparazzi as the mob, and it's just those little tiny elements that go into a retelling that I appreciate, and when done well, I love. Now, I could have told you from the very beginning that this Starfield collection was going to be Rosie's mom's. That was pretty much a given, especially since there isn't a lot of twists or surprises in this storyline. But I do like that it was done, especially when we finally found the written inscription in one of those books. It made my heart melt. And I know this book isn't anything new. It's just the way it was done connected with me and was so refreshing for me, given all of the retellings that I have read. Sometimes it's nice to find these diamonds that come out of nowhere. So I very much approve of this book. It's one of those books that I am going to have to get into my physical library. It needs to be here. I love what she did with this story, and I'm going to be recommending it to anybody and everybody who's like, I need a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Tell me what to read. This one. It's so entertaining, and it's such a fluff piece, but I still love it. So tell me down below what your thoughts are on this book. I know it's one of those books that's probably going to be all over BookTube for a little while, and I really hope that it is. It needs to be one of those books that we talk about for a good chunk of time. I need people to talk to about it. And with that being said, if you would like to stay up to date with every time I upload, subscribe down below, and I have two beautiful faces. Bye.